IGT, baby.
What's cracking, y'all? It's your boy Junior Mafia coming back to you with another video. So it is time to give my Survivor Series War Games predictions. And I was going to do this yesterday, but it was Thanksgiving and all that stuff. And shout out to everybody, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed it and all that. Have some good foods and just kicking it with the family and friends and all that. So I hope y'all enjoyed yourself. But I was gonna record it earlier. But I had some things to do and stuff like that. Plus I was cooking. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just save it for Friday and, get my predictions there and what's going to go down. So without further ado, let's get right into it, man. So we got 4 matches on this card. And I'm going to start with the Women's War Games match to kick it off. With, on one team, you got Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and AJ Lee taking on Nia Jax, Last Legend, Becky Lynch, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. Now, for this match here, I feel like it is going to deliver. It's going to be interesting. I hate how the build up for it was. And it didn't start really kicking in towards the tail end, of the go home show leading up to the pay-per-view. So I feel like it should have been a way better job how they executed the build up for this match and all that. That could have been a whole lot better. But I feel like heading into this, they're all gonna execute, and all that stuff. So how I feel about this is on one end, I was going to go with Becky, the Kabuki Warriors, Nia and Last Legend to win and, beat AJ Lee, Rhea and them. But the problem is, based off Becky's promo and her pretty much downplaying her own teammates and making it seem like, it was just her team. Like, she didn't want to deal with the job and belittling all of them, that's going to play a real focal point, on either them walking out on her and not caring, or in this case, they just completely turn on her. Like, one of those two things could probably happen. Maybe not. You also got to look at the situation of Rhea and Charlotte and their relationship. Now, they were going to make amends and look to handle business going into this match. But do ego plays a point in this? That can happen. So, needless to say, a whole lot can go down. And much to my chagrin, I got confidence that Team AJ can handle business and pretty much pack them up. So, I got them coming out of this match winning, and I think it's going to be some carnage. That's for sure. They're going to get some weapons involved. I won't be surprised if we get a trash can and all that. You see Io yet again, where she gets on top of the cage with the trash can and does, a dive onto everybody on there like she normally does. If you haven't seen it, go check out her recent War Games match, and you will know what I'm talking about. So I feel like we're all going to get that. I feel like each woman are going to have, their time to really showcase what they do and all that stuff. So that's really interesting to see. And, I think when it's all said and done, the person that's going to probably take the pin is Becky. It's either she's getting pinned or she's getting submitted. And it's going to come off of AJ Lee most likely packing her up. That's going to win the match. So I feel like that's going to go down, and then we'll see the frictions, post Survivor Series and all that, and what's going to go down. So I got them coming out the way with the victory, and that is AJ Lee, Charlotte, Alexa, Rhea, and Io. Next, I feel like we're gonna have the Intercontinental Championship match. John Cena taking on Dominic. And I'm gonna be honest with you, there's gonna be some interference. That's for sure. I feel like the Judgment Day are gonna get involved, JD McDonough and Finn Balor. But looking at it from this standpoint, they're most likely gonna cause Dominic to lose. Now he is gonna have some momentum against John Cena. Like he'll have his moments where he got like some offense and all that stuff, and what it look like is close to him getting that victory. We already know when Cena turns to Super Cena, yeah, it's pretty much done for you. You know what I mean? So I feel like he is gonna have some moments into this match that's gonna say, "Oh, like can he really pull it off, so to speak?" But we know as it winds down and all, we all gonna get some interference, you know, between the Judgment Day. Now, whoever comes out to probably help Cena in this case, who knows? Unless I say he turned to Super Cena and pack all three of them up, you know, that could potentially happen. But one way or another, I got John Cena retaining the Intercontinental Championship. So I think if it do end up being interference, and in this case it backfires, and Finn Balor ends up costing Dominic to get the title, I think that's when we'll start seeing more friction of the Judgment Day and pretty much the decline of that. So we could potentially get that, and definitely want to see how that most likely turns out. But I got John Cena beating Dominic and all. So moving on. This is a match that I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I could really give a shit about because of one person. And that match I'm talking about is Stephanie Valkyrie taking on Nikki Bella for the Women's World Championship. Here's the thing. Did this match needed to happen? No. And if I'm being honest with you, this is the type of match you could just have on a Monday Night Raw. This is not pay-per-view worry. I mean, excuse me, pay-per-view viewership. It's not worth it. And I'll deep dive into, you know, I feel like should change in a foreseeable future when it comes down to the Survivor Series and what they need to do to get better at that. Not to say that it's not, because I feel like every Wargames match was pretty damn good, you know, since they inserted it to the main roster, but it got a little overboard, so to speak. So I'm going to dive more into it towards the end of my prediction video. But, you know, I feel like, yeah, Nikki is going to get some, especially as a heel, so she's going to, you know, be on the offense for most of the match, talking shit as always until Stephanie Valkyrie takes advantage of it. And, you know, as that happens, and of course, she's going to get packed up. And I had Stephanie Valkyrie retaining. And if I'm being honest with y'all, I really want them to just get this match out the way and move on, because I feel like it was irrelevant and it's just not worth it whatsoever. I would have rather somebody else over Nikki Bella, you know, mostly Raquel Rodriguez, which they are, you know, saving for that to probably happen at Monday Night Raw, the case is. And my question is that right at a time where Liv Morgan makes her comeback, or let it be a surprise for the Royal Rumble? So that remains to be seen. But I truly believe when Stephanie Valkyrie and Raquel have that match for the title, we could probably see Liv Morgan come back. So we'll see how things turns out, and looking forward to it and all that stuff. And now we have the men's War Games match with the team of Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, the Usos, and Roman Reigns taking on Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar, who I'm still laughing about him busting his ass on Monday Night Raw and all that stuff. Like, he still became the meme of the week, so to speak. So this and it's never gonna be forgotten. So I think he kind of understands that and trying to move past it. But whatever the case is, that shit was still funny to me. But this definitely gonna be interesting. This is gonna be real fucking good. And how I think things is gonna turn out, considering the fact that they really have advantage into this War Games match because of Logan Paul pinning Jimmy Uso. You know, I feel like they're gonna set the tone with Brock Lesnar starting, and he just starts manhandling pretty much everybody, like the Usos, Cody, Punk. And I think it won't be until Roman Reigns comes into the match to where shit is going to even out. But you could tell the dominance of Brock Lesnar is going to play a major role, you know, for that team. Of course, you know, they're going to have their moments where you have Drew McIntyre. He might pretty much dominate here and there. And, you know, you have Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. They may have their moments too. But just like I said for the women's match as well, where egos could play a focal point, that can also happen in that match. Because I feel like tensions is going to rise with Brock and Braun Breaker. I think those two are already going to clash with each other. And they're not going to be on the same page to where you have Roman, Cody, and them take advantage of that. So that's something we have to pay attention to. And Logan Paul, in this case, again, I said he's still a weak link to me. Out of everybody that's in this match, he's the weak link. And that sounds crazy because people would say Jimmy Uso. Now, Jimmy going to have his moments, without a doubt. But I felt like with Logan Paul, he's good. I'm never going to discredit him as talent in the ring. But let's be honest with you, nobody going to give a shit. You really ain't. And you know down the line, he's going to get packed the fuck up. But as we talk about egos with Brock Lesnar, Bronson Reed, and all that, if you look on the other side, that could also be talked about as well with CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns. Especially with Cody pretty much saying that he's like the quarterback of this team and follow his lead. Punk gonna look at it this way like, nah, like I don't follow by you. I'll go with the beat of my own drum, so to speak. Like, those is going to really play a part, you know, in that match. And then you have Roman in this case where those things can actually happen. And one thing I didn't mention though, keep an eye on Jay. Because, you know, Jay is good for being a certified crash out. You know, especially after the last time when the Usos and Roman was in the ring and what was said. Don't be surprised if Jay tried to go out his own way and Jimmy had to pull him back like, yo, you need to chill out and all that. Like, you starting to act like Roman and stuff like that. And they start getting at it. So that's another thing we got to like really pay close attention to, because a lot can happen in this match. A whole lot of friction within each team can really make or break them. And whoever gets the victory. So I think that's going to play a very crucial part in this. And in my honest opinion, I got Cody, Roman, and all of them winning this match. For this reason right here. You got 2 of your champions on the same team. On the same team. It would be stupid if you have them lose that match. And granted, they don't have to be pinned. Just for them losing that match alone when you have 2 of your top champions on one fucking team, it's insane. It would not be a good look whatsoever. So I don't envision the circumstance that happens. I feel like when it's all said and done, the person that's going to eat the pin in this situation is Logan Paul, because it's the right choice to go with, and it keeps the rest safe. It keeps Braun Breaker safe, Bronson Reed, and Drew McIntyre. So I feel like anybody who be in the pen is Logan that's gonna most likely be the one to do so. Now who pins them is the question mark, because Roman wants to get that victory. Cody does. Of course, Punk do. And Jimmy and Jay do. Because it's going to be a point where they're going to be like, you know what? I pinned him and all that and got us that victory. Those type of things are going to get brought up. So, I'm interested to see how this thing turns out. But, of course, I got Cody and them coming out with the victory. Now, what happens afterwards, we got to wait and see. Because I feel like every time towards the end of a War Games match, it's always something that you got to pay close attention to that's really going to shock everybody and have jaws dropping. It happened last year with CM Punk returning in Chicago, which still doing numbers as we speaking. And I feel like we're going to probably get something like that towards the end of this show. So I'm definitely looking forward to what's going to go down. So those are my picks for Survivor Series. And I got for the women's War Game match, I have the team of AJ, Charlotte, Alexa, Rhea, and Io winning that match. I have John Cena retaining the Intercontinental Championship. I have Stephanie Valkyrie retaining her Women's World Championship. And I have the team of Cody, Roman, the Usos, and CM Punk winning their War Games match. So I definitely want to hear what y'all have y'all predictions on in regards to who wins and all that. What do you think is going to turn out within those matches? I would love to hear those in the comments down below. But before I close this video, I want to address something, that I feel like that needs to be said. And I hope that this do change in the foreseeable future. And what I'm talking about is move away from the War Games match. I feel like it's ran its course, and it's starting to become detrimental to a Survivor Series. What I mean by that is, what we know for Survivor Series, it's a traditional one-on-one match. Champion versus champion. You have one team on Raw versus on SmackDown, to where they battle out an elimination match. Like, that's how we remember Survivor Series the way it was. I still think the best one for me was the one that you had Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT, because the build up for it. It gave you, if y'all remember, when you had WWF, ECW, and WCW all going at it. Like, it was the invasion, so to speak. And I said with that, how poorly executed that pay-per-view was, WWE, when Raw, SmackDown, NXT went at it, I said they nailed that perfectly. I still consider that top 3 of my favorite Survivor Series pay-per-views of all time. That's how fucking how good it is. If you haven't seen it, I advise you to check it out. I think it was was it 2019? I think 2018, 2019. I think 2019. Y'all can fact check me if that's the case. But that was still one of my favorite pay-per-views, bar none. And I would love for something like that to happen again. So, if I'm Triple H, if I'm TKO, y'all gotta go back to the traditional Survivor Series. And have your champion versus championship matches, and take your 5 best from Raw versus the 5 best on SmackDown, and let them battle it out. I feel like that will make things a lot more interesting and all that stuff, compared to the whole War Games match, because you're taking everybody who was a part of a feud and pretty much cramming into that in one match. which in that case is lazy booking. It's lazy booking. So I hope they learn from this. Take a back seat from War Games. Like, I'm not trying to say be done with it, like, period, and all that too. But let it be on rare occasions. Don't let it be a yearly thing, because it's gonna get watered down. And I feel like this one right here was prime example of it. You just pretty much cram everybody who have rivalries with each other and put them all in one match. It's lazy booking. And it takes away from other people to be on this card as well, because I would have loved to see Jade Cargill in Survivor Series. That is your women's champion. I would love for her to see her go one-on-one with Stephanie Vaquer. What about the women's and the Continental champion and the United States champion? I would have loved to see that too. So it's something you have to think of and really take that into consideration. You know, I feel like with Survivor Series, you gotta go back to its roots and really make things interesting, so to speak. That's all we can ask for as WWE fans. So I hope they take that and really learn from it, and you know, just continue to just grow. You know what I'm saying? Just don't let it be so stale and just stop with the lazy booking. You do those things, I don't envision a circumstance that the product, you know, don't get better. But you have to learn from that, and you have to build off that. So that's all I got to say. But comment down below. Let me know, who do you think is going to win the Survivor Series War Game match? And what else is on the match card? Who y'all think is going to win? And also, do y'all agree with me that they should, you know, shine away from doing War Games, you know, for the foreseeable futures? So I definitely want to hear y'all thoughts on it. You know, make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop content right here on this channel. But I appreciate y'all love and support. Roll to 200 subscribers. Continue to keep God first. Trust the process of anything that you do at life. Your time will come. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next video. Peace.